ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। So we were in the fourth Brahmana of the fourth chapter, and I think we were still in the Samsari Prakaranam, you can say, how one actually goes from one state to another. That is what we call a life of becoming. So even in one life, you keep on becoming something or the other because of the fundamental problem being one of self non-acceptance. So one is not able to accept oneself as I am. Therefore, you have to become something in the hope that by becoming something, you will become acceptable to yourself. But whatever you become also is due to karma phala, and karma phala being finite, limited, whatever you become also will not be acceptable to yourself. So you remain the same unacceptable person to yourself. And that is what we call this samsara, because you go from one state to another, you become something else, but that something else also is not acceptable. So you keep on becoming something else, something else, something else. It keeps on going. It's a vicious cycle, never ending cycle. Whether in this life or even if this life is over, that karma does not get destroyed. So it will give you another birth. So that's what we are seeing here in this prakarana. How even when you leave this body, what happens? How do you take up a new body, etc.? All these things were discussed. Now, in this context, this particular fifth Kandika here talks about how one identifies with Anatma, how the Atma identifies with the Anatma and then becomes the Karta and Bhokta. So this started as Sava Ayam Atma Brahma. So this Atma is really Brahman. Okay, there is a Mahavakya here. Ayam Atma Brahma is there. But it becomes Vijnanamayaha. So it is as though the intellect. Okay. So it identifies with the intellect. Vijnanamayaha means not only with the intellect, then the identification keeps on going with so many things, correct? With the mind, with the indriyas, different indriyas, then with the physical body. Okay, like this, your identification with all anatma is talked about here. And then with that identification, you become a karta bhokta. Once you are a karta, then what? It also says sadhukari, sadhur bhavati, papakari, papo bhavati. If you do sadhu, means if you do something which is good, which is right, then the karma phala also whatever you get will make you again, will give you pleasant experiences, will be good for you. And if you do something wrong, something bad, then the karma phala which you will get also will be bad, correct? And here that is also repeated again. Punyah punyena karmana bhavati, papah papena. So Bhashyakara here wants to show a difference, because why the Upanishad is repeating this again. So for that, I think we were at that Bhashya. This sadhukari, papakari, this form, this word form is because of a pratyaya called Tachilya pratyaya. Okay, so we saw this Tachilya pratyaya upadanat atyanta tatparyataya tat atyanta tatparyata eva tanmayatvam natu tat karma matrena iti ashankya aha. So what Bhashyakara says is this form sadhukari, papakari is like the word Ushna Bhoji. Okay. So Ushna Bhoji means one who eats food which is very hot. Okay. Now when you call somebody as the one who eats hot food, it's not because he eats it accidentally once. Many times we drink a coffee or tea without knowing how hot it is, and then in fact for a couple of days you cannot really taste anything. Your tongue becomes burnt. Such a person is not called Ushna Bhoji. Ushna Bhoji means he has Tatshilata. Tatshilata means what? Somebody who does that all the time. Habitually, if you are doing something, for that only that pratyaya comes. Okay. So, Sadhukari, Papakari has a Tachilya pratyaya means one who habitually does good things or one who habitually does something wrong, something bad. Now, there may be a doubt. Will you get the karma phala only if you do something habitually, something all the time intensely, or even if you do once, you will get that karma phala? Means this Upanishad is clarifying, saying that no, whatever karma you do, that phala you have to get. Okay, every karma has a phala. Whether you do it once, whether you do it habitually, that doesn't matter. Okay, so that's why it says, iti ashankyaha punyah punyena karmana bhavati papah papene iti punya papa karma matrenaiva tanmayata syat natu tachilyam apekshate. So you do karma, whether it is punya or papa, that karma phala will be there, and you have to uh, enjoy that. Okay, whether it is good or bad. That means you identify with that also and become a bhokta. You have to become the bhokta of the karma phala. Okay, and for that you don't have to keep doing it again and again habitually. Even if you do it once, you have to experience the results of your action, and while experiencing you identify with that, correct? You become a bhokta. That's why it is called tanmayata here, and for that it need not be tat tachilyam na apekshate. Bhashyakara says it is not that you require to do something habitually and again, then only you will get that phala. So therefore what tachilye tanmayatva atishaya atishaya ityayam visheshaha. So if you do it habitually, of course, you will get more phala and all that, correct? That is a Vishesha or Atishaya. So, but otherwise, anyway, whatever you do, you have to experience the results of your action. Okay, continuing what Tatra Kama Krodhadi Purvaka Punya Punya Karita Sarva Mayatve Hetuhu. So, Sarva Mayatva means what? All the things with which you identify, okay, either as a Karta or a Bhokta, all of them, what is the cause for that? Means it is punya and papa, correct? Punya, punya, karita. So all the things with which you identify, all of them are due to punya papa only. And that punya papa itself, how did you get? Means kama krodhadi purvaka. Because you had kama or krodha. Because generally due to kama, due to desire, you can do punya also. But mostly due to krodha, you do papa. Because why do you even get krodha or anger? Because if your desire goes unfulfilled, then you have a certain pain, and that pain only expresses itself as anger. So here you can take kama is the reason for punya, and krodha become, or krodha adi also is there. Means kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya and all we say, correct? The shad ripuhu. All of them impel you to either do punya or papa. Adi padat, all those things also you can bring in. Okay, because people are impelled by jealousy also. They do stupid things due to jealousy or because they are deluded like that. So the lobha and moha, or they have greed. So a lot of people, even educated people, are fooled by some Ponzi schemes and all that because they have a greed for earning quickly or they have a greed for easy money. Okay. In fact, recently one of our batchmates, he lost some $140,000 or something to some Chinese Ponzi scheme, which is really sad. Okay, but he is very highly educated and all that in a very good job. But then one can be deluded like that, at least temporarily, can be attributed to Shani and all that. Okay, if you're having 7.5 years, this Sade Sati, anything can happen. Even if you are highly educated, normally a wise person, and still you end up being deluded like this. Anyway, so those things can be even looked upon as the result of papa. But that's all. These things happen, correct? So this kama and krodha, etc., only lead you to punya and papa, and due to that, whatever karma phala is there, you identify with that as the bhokta, as the experiencer, and that is the reason for samsara itself. That is the samsarasya karanam. So if you see paramparaya, this kama is the samsara karanam. That's what Bhashyakara is trying to point out because he is going to the next section in the Upanishad, because Upanishad itself is going to talk about kama. Okay. So this kama krodhadi are the karana, are the hetu for samsara. And also what samsara itself is what? Not only in this life, but even you will have to take up another body, and that body can be either a deva sharira or a tiryak sharira and all that, correct? It can be the body of a deva, or it can be the body of an animal or whatever. So dehantara sancharasya cha. So the samsara is not only in this life, but you will have to take other bodies and undergo experiences even in another life. And all this is due to kama. And etat prayuktaha hi anya dehantaram upadatte tasmat punya punye samsarasya karanam. So etat prayuktaha means here etat is the one who is impelled by that. What is that? This kama, krodha, etc., which again results in punya papa. So basically the punya and papa are, karma is only impelling you, karma is putting you in different situations, and then you have to react to that, correct? So you are impelled by that only. In this life also you are facing so many situations, and then whatever the other dehas you may get in other lives. So anyat dehantaram upadatte, you keep on getting other bodies also. Okay, different other bodies, all that you attain only by impelled by your punya and papa. Therefore, what punya punye samsarasya karanam. Punya punye is the dual form, which is very unique to Sanskritam, or I don't know, some other languages also may have that. At least I only know Sanskritam, which has a dual form also. So punya punye by impelled. Therefore, this punya and punya, which is papa, are the karana for samsara. They are the cause for this life of becoming. And further, what etad vishayauhi vidhi pratishedhau, and the vidhi and pratishedha which is given in the shastra, correct? The vidhi and pratishedha are with reference to this punya and papa only, because if you do whatever is mandated by the shastra, you gain punya. But if you do whatever is forbidden, whatever is pratishedha, correct? Pratishedha means whatever is forbidden by the shastra, whatever the shastra says don't do. But many people have pravritti only towards that, and if you do that, then you are going to get papa. So the entire karma kanda we have to take here. Okay, the purva kanda of the Veda is only with reference to punya and papa, which again you gain by either doing whatever is mandated or whatever is forbidden. So etat vishayo hi vidhi pratishedho. So here we should not include Upanishad. Okay, Upanishad Vishaya is different. Upanishad is not concerned about Punya Papa. Upanishad is concerned about revealing the truth about yourself so that you can transcend this Punya Papa itself, correct? But the otherwise, all other Shastra, their subject matter is this Vidhi and Pratisheda, which leads to Punya and Papa. So Bhashyakara says, Atra Shastrasya Saphalyamiti. So that is the purpose of the Shastra itself. So the fruition of the Shastra is in revealing to you what is Vidhi, what is Pratishedha, and depending on what you do, again, you gain Punya Papa, and it just keeps perpetuating itself. Then it's a vicious cycle. Okay. Now, having said all these things, but the Upanishad now, so even though you identify with so many things, but karma is the main thing here. So to show that now the Upanishad, what does it say? In fact, we can go back to the here. So up to this we saw. Now, atho khalu ahuhu kama mayaha eva ayam purushaha iti. So this is the part now Bhashyakara is commenting. So, but some people, okay, atho api anye, some other people, what do they say with reference to this? Bandha moksha kushalaha means those who are experts in knowing what is bandha and moksha. Okay, means jnanis, panditas. Khalu ahuhu, indeed they say. What do they say? Satyam kamadi purvake punya punye sharira grahana karanam. Okay, so we accept that to gain a new body, you require punya and papa, correct? Punya and apunya. And they themselves are there due to because you have done something. And what did you do and why did you do something? Because you had desire, or you were angry, or you were jealous, etc. So kamadi purvake punya punye sharira grahana karanam we accept. But even then what? Tathapi kama prayuktaha hi purushaha. The kama is the most important thing here. Desire. Why the desire is most important thing and why is desire is the one which is driving you? Because desire implies that you are a wanting being. Understand that. That's why we focus so much on desire. In fact, the entire Bhagavad Gita looks upon any human being in a very simple manner. Okay, Bhagavad Gita psychology is very simple. Bhagavan looks upon you as a bundle of desires only, likes and dislikes. And the one who has likes and dislikes, how does he look upon himself? Okay, that's what I already talked about, correct? Such a person looks upon himself as somebody who is wanting, correct? You are wanting, whichever way you look at yourself, you are wanting, correct? Once you take yourself as a mortal being occupying a particular body, mind, sense complex, nobody, however accomplished you are, nobody can escape that I am limited, I am wanting this feeling. Once you have that, you cannot accept yourself. Then you have to do something about it. So the entire thing, all the problems, the root of that is desire, and the desire itself implies that you are a limited wanting being. And if you get away from this desire, then none of the other things matter. Okay. So that's why the entire Gita is about first gaining mastery over your desires. Correct? How do I gain mastery over my desire? By doing your duties. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Bhagavan says very clearly. Of course, he says that in the 18th chapter. Even before he says, he keeps saying that you have to do whatever is to be done. Whatever is to be done, you do regardless of your likes and dislikes. Understand that. That is the life of Karma Yoga. So first you have to become a yogi, yogi bhava. Like that Bhagavan says many times to Arjuna, you become a yogi, you become a yogi. And how do you become a yogi? By looking at the results of action equanimously, samatvam yoga uchyate and all that. So, by being a yogi, you have a certain relative freedom from your own desires because you have learned to look upon things equanimously, and therefore you have a certain mastery over your desires. So, if you have mastery over your desires, means you are free to do the right thing. Understand that. I always say real freedom is you should be free enough to do the right thing, correct? If you are not free enough to do the right thing, then you are not really a free person. You are a slave of your own desires, or you are whatever. In many ways, you are becoming pressured, correct? Due to some pressure, you do something, means you are not really free. So, if you are free to do the right thing, means you are a yogi. But that is also still relative only. Then, when do you become completely free? Means sarva karma sannyasi. Means once you understand as a yogi, now you have to do Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Okay. And Shastra, in the light of the Shastra, you discover that I am not a Karta Bhokta. Correct? I am not a Karta Bhokta. So once you discover that truth, Karmani Akarma Yaf Pashyet and all, Bhagavan says in the fourth chapter beautifully, even while doing something, you discover that you are not the Karta. In fact, Bhagavan says about himself also, Bhagavan says that, correct? Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram api mam vidya akartaram avyayam. So even though I am the one who has created all this, whatever, chaturvarnas, etc., the entire srishti Bhagavan has done. Okay. But still what? You should know me as one who has not done anything, one who has not changed in any manner, correct? Tasya akartaram avyayam. Avyayaha means na vyeti iti avyayaha. One who does not change in any manner, one who does not do anything, that is the Atma Swarupa. The Atma Swarupa is one of Akartritvam only. The Avidya is taking oneself as a Karta Bhokta. So, Guna Guneshu Vartante iti Matvana Sajjate and all also Bhagavan says in the third chapter. So, this Atma Swarupa, you know, means you are now completely free from all kama. Why? Because you are not even a Karta and you are not a Bhokta. Then where is the question of having any kama? So that is what the Upanishad is trying to teach. But if you take yourself as a kami, means you are a jiva, you are an individual, you are a limited wanting person. So the root of everything is kama alone. Okay. So that's what now this bandha moksha kushalaha, they what do they say? Even though this we say papa, punya, etc. and all that, but still what? Kama prayuktaha hi purushaha punya punye karmani upachinoti. So you accumulate all this punya, apunya, etc. How? Because being impelled by kama. But if somebody destroys one's own kama, correct? Kama prahanetu karma vidyamanamapi punya punya upachaya karam na bhavati. So once you discover yourself as akarta abhokta, means there is no question of having any kama. Correct? Kama is destroyed. In fact, there is nothing to be desired because everything is you. That is the Sarvatma Bhava also we talk about, correct? So everything is as though already attained. So Soshnute Sarvan Kaman Saha, like this in even Taittiriya Upanishad says. So Brahmavid apnoti param tadesha bhyukta satyam jnanam anantam brahma yo vedanitam guhayam rame vyoman soshnute sarvan kaman saha. So Sarvan Kaman Saha Ashnute. Saha here is Yugapad. Yugapad means as soon as you know this Brahman, it is as though you have fulfilled all your desires. Nothing there is there to be fulfilled because there is nothing other than you anyway. So what is there? Uh, Therefore, this kama is gone. Kama prahanetu karma vidyamanapipi. So once you are a jnani, whatever prarabdha karma is there, let it play out now. How does it matter? So karma vidyamanamapi punya punya upachayakaram na bhavati. It does not result in anything. It cannot accumulate any more punya or papa because you don't take yourself as karta anymore. Correct? So this all the karma is burnt away by the jnanam itself. Correct? So nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram vidyate. Like this, Bhagavan says in the fourth chapter itself. And jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. Like that. So the jnanagni burns all the karma. And therefore, once it is burnt, it cannot accumulate anymore. It is all gone. And even whatever is accumulated, karma and all has no meaning, correct? Upachite api punya punye karmani kama shunye phalarambhake na bhavataha. So even all the sanchita karma, limitless karma is suddenly gone. It's not even there. It's all evaporated, in fact. So the analogy we normally give for samsara is that it is a sagara, correct? It is a sea. You are swimming in the sea, desperate to reach the shore. But then what do you discover? There is no sea at all, in fact. You, you are swimming where there is no sea at all. It's all only your imagination. The entire sea evaporates. So that is the jnana. So for the one who has this jnanam, this entire karma is gone and it cannot produce anything, any new phala, etc. It cannot start. It cannot fructify anymore. Okay. Therefore, what tasmat kama eva samsarasya moolam. So kama is the main thing for you to have a life of becoming, because karma implies you are a wanting being, you are a limited being, as I told you, and that is non-acceptable. So our fundamental problem is one of self non-acceptance. And once that self non-acceptance goes, then there is nothing to be achieved. So tatha cha uktam atharvane kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha sa kama bihi jayate tatra tatra. So this is a very beautiful verse from Mundaka Upanishad. So this Mundaka Upanishad verse, in fact, Bhashyakara will quote the next part of this verse later on, because there paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyante kamaha, like that it is there. In fact, this so kamanyah kamayate means what? Of course, whatever you desire, the desired objects, correct? And manyamana means you are normally, when you are longing for something, you think about that only, right? Its features, qualities, etc. How it is going to whatever pleasure you or something like that. So kamanyah kamayate manyamana. Then what happens? Then you do to attain that, correct? You do something to gain that karma phala, and then you are born amongst that whatever karma phala you wanted, only there only you are there now. Sa kama bihi jayate tatra tatra. So wherever you wanted to go and enjoy, there you are born with all those whatever things you wanted to enjoy. Of course, depending on the karma you did. So this Bhashyakara is pointing out here, pointing out that kama is the main thing. Even in the Mundaka Upanishad, kama is talked about as the main thing. Due to kama only, you do something and then gain the punya papa, and then you are born there, wherever you are supposed, whichever loka it is, correct, where you can enjoy that. But the next part of this is very interesting, correct? Paryapta kamasya, and here also it will come. So that also Bhashyakara will quote. We'll see later in the next Kandika. But here what we see is that kama is the main thing, but for the one who does not have any kama, then nothing can really happen. Even for that, in fact, fourth chapter, lot of verses are there. This Brahmarpanam Brahma Vihi we chant, correct, every day. So before that, you take some, I think around 420 or something. There are many verses are there, interesting verses. Starting with Karmani Akarmayah Pashyet, Akarmani Cha Karmayaha, Sabuddhiman Manusheshu, Sayuktah Karma, Sayuktah Kritsna Karma Krite. Okay. And Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam Tamahu Panditam Buddha and all he says. Tektva Karma Phala Sangam Nitya Tripto Nirashraya Karmanyabhipravrittopi Naiva Kinchit Karoti Saha. So again there, for the one who is Buddha, one who is Jnani, he has he has no need to do anything, correct? He is not impelled by any desire to achieve anything, but still that person can do whatever he is doing without any attachment to karma or karma phala, and he is already nitya triptaha, always satisfied with oneself, does not depend on any karma phala to be satisfied. Okay, so like this, if you see here, this uh, this thing, you can see that even though he does, he is not going to get entangled in the results of the karma phala. Karmani abhipravrittopi, Bhagavan says, even though he is totally engaged in doing action, he is not really doing anything. And this later on also he will say in the same chapter, Ratasangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasaha yajnaya acharatah karma samagram praviliyate, means yajnaya acharatah karma, without any sangha, from whom all the attachment is gone, gata sangasya, and one who is free, correct, muktasya, and one who is established in this jnanam that I am akarta abhokta, that person can still do as a yajna all the karma. Okay, but that will not, that all that karma pala will have laya here itself, means it will not create any new birth for that person, correct? It will not make that person entangled in karma, etc. So like this, those, in fact, the entire, like I said, the Gita, entire thing is talking about this only. And therefore what? So here we see that tasmat kama maya eva ayam purushaha yat anya mayatvam tat akaranam vidyamanam api. So therefore the Panditas, those who know about Bandha and Moksha, they say that this Purusha is Kama Mayaha. Kama, the first identification, the main identification is with Kama, and thereafter only everything else comes. The other things, even if they are there, but if Kama is not there, then they cannot become the Karana for Samsara. So for Samsara, Kama has to be there. That's why they say Anya Mayatvam. Other things also you identify with, but they are all not the real reasons for samsara. Kama, if it is there, then samsara is there. Therefore, what? Iti ataha avadharayati kama mayaha eva iti. So the Upanishad itself now determines, correct, ascertains that kama maya eva, this kama maya is the main thing. Therefore, what? Yasmat sacha kama mayaha san yadrishena kamena yatha kamo bhavati kratur bhavati. So here the Upanishad is talking about three steps. Okay, first you have kama. See, many of us have desires, but that desire will not lead to any action. Okay, in fact, that is a problem. Many many people have desire to reduce weight, become fit, correct, have a certain regimen every day. These desires are there, but then what? So many hindrances are there to fulfill that desire. Means you never really start doing anything. Okay, so just because desire is there, somebody will not do something, correct? In fact, this desire thing, Bhagavan also talks in the second chapter, correct? So, Sangaha, and there he talks about Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsaha, Sangasteshu Upajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha, Kamat Krodho Bijayate, like that. In the Gita also it is there. The second chapter end, you can see. So, there you think about something, then you have a certain fascination for that. That is the Sangha or attachment, and then from that desire is there. But then desire also need not become action. Understand that. Why? Because we desire for so many things, but then you have so many constraints also. Correct? So with so many constraints, you know that this desire cannot be fulfilled. So therefore, you don't take any action. But wherever this desire is not constrained, okay, then it grows. It becomes a resolution. Sankalpa will be there. That is what is called kratuhu here by the Upanishad. So Bhashyakara says, So the one who has kama, because due to whichever kama you become yatha kamo bhavati, kratur bhavati means then that kama, when it is not hindered by anything, constrained by anything, then it grows and becomes a resolution, or that is called kratu here. So the whatever in that Gita verse, Bhagavan just said kama, kamat krodho bhi jayate, he went into krodha from kama, because kama, if it is not fulfilled, can become krodha. Sometimes it just withers away, correct? You don't think about it anymore, because the reality of the life can take over. But here, Upanishad is trying to show you how the kama leads you to action. So now you have a certain resolve. Then what? Sakama. So Bhashyakara explains that Kratur Bhavati means what? Sakama Ishad Abhilasha Matrena Abhivyaktaha Yasmin Vishaye Bhavati. So initially the Kama means what? There is a slight. Ishad means slight. Okay. Abhilasha Matra means you have a slight liking or a desire for something. So it manifests as a slight liking or desire for something. And then what? Saha avihanyamanaha sputi bhavan kratutvam apadyate. So when does that kama becomes kratuhu? When that kama is not avihanyamanaha. Vihanyamanaha means basically something which is hindered or destroyed. Okay, constrained. So here, when that kama is not constrained by anything, then it becomes puti bhavan means it becomes more, it grows and it becomes clearer. And then what? It becomes basically kratutvam apadyate. So it becomes kratu, and kratutvam apadyate means what? Kratur nama adhyavasayaha nischayah. So Bhashyakara says kratuhu means adhyavasayaha or nischayah means that is resolution or resolve. You have a resolve. But what we see in reality is even with resolve, many people don't do, correct? So you have New Year resolutions. Last year also you had New Year resolution. Same New Year resolution continues every year. That means that fellow, of course, sometimes you try, resolution ends up in action, but action need not succeed also. Then again the resolution remains. This year's resolution continues next year also. Like that it can keep on going. But anyway, the idea is that once it becomes a resolution, then you actually do something about it. So adhyavasayaha nischayah kratuhu nama. Kratur is adhyavasayaha or nischayah. Then further what? Yad anantara kriya pravartate. So after that resolution, one one engages in action. Okay. So the pravritti starts. Yat kratur bhavati yadrik kama karyena kratuna yatha rupaha kratuhu asya sahayam yat kratuhu bhavati. So yat kratur bhavati, like that in the Upanishad itself it is there. If you see, that's what he is commenting on. Here yat kratur bhavati tat karma kurute yat karma kurute tat abhisampadyate. So this is the portion of Bhashyakara is giving the commentary. So yat kratur bhavati means what? Yadrik kama karyena kratuna. So that kratu, which is again a result of kama. And in whichever form that kratu is, that resolution is yatha rupaha kratuhu asya sahayam yat kratuhu bhavati. So that the person becomes in the form of that resolution, and then being in that form, karma kurute, then he does action in keeping with your resolution. So that karma kurute, Bhashyakara says yad vishayaha kratuhu. So whatever is the vishaya of the kratu, the resolution, the object of that resolution only, the action also is in keeping with that. And then means what? Tat phala nirvrittaye yat yogyam karma. So how do you even decide the karma? Because the karma is dependent on whatever phala you want, correct? That's why, see, one of the mistranslations of karma yoga is that you have to do action without any expectation of result. Okay, this is a standard translation, correct? Even in Tamil they say, கடமையை செய் பலனை எதிர்பாராதே. Okay. Do your duty, don't expect any results. This is karma yoga. Now, that is a problematic way of understanding, because nobody can do any action without expecting result, because the very action itself is dependent on the result, correct? How do you decide what you want to do? If you want to go to Mumbai, you cannot go south from Chennai, correct? The very action, whether you walk or you take a plane or a train or whatever it is, at least you have to go in the right direction, wherever you want to go. So the very action is dependent on the result only. So how can anybody do anything without expecting any result? What they really mean, we have to understand anyway. What they really mean is, don't expect the result is going to make you happy. That's what they really mean. When they say don't expect any result, means you cannot expect that the result will make you really happy, because the result is not in your hands, correct? Bhagavan is the karma pala data. So, with an understanding that the result can be anything, and with a basic attitude that whatever may be the result, I am ready to accept it equanimously, then you do. That's what they mean really there. But the way they put it can cause confusion, because every action itself is decided based on the result it is going to give. So, tat phala nirvrittaye yat yogyam karma. So, whatever karma which is capable of giving the results which you desire, that karma you do. Tat kurute nirvartayati. So, that karma only you engage in. And yet karma kurute abhisampadyate. No, whatever karma you do, the result of that you gain. So, tadi abhisampadyate means tadiyam phalam abhisampadyate. That phala you get. Tasmat sarvamayatve asya samsaritve cha mama eva hetuhu iti. Therefore, what? For all the identification which you have, correct, with different things, for all that, and also which leads to samsara, correct? Sarvamayatve samsaritve kama eva hetuhu. Kama is the hetu. Now this has been established, and now this is said by a mantra also. So the Upanishad is quoting now. Tadesha shloko bhavati. So there is a shloka which is which is actually revealing the same thing. What is that? Tadeva saktaha saha karmana yeti lingam mano yatra nishaktamasya. So tadeva saktaha means asaktaha means attached. The one who is longing for or attached to something. Okay, and that person what? Yeti, he gains that. He attains that. Whatever you are longing for or whatever to which you are attached, you gain that or you attain that. You reach that. How? Saha karmana. Means along with the karma means, see, many times whatever you, particularly swarga, etc., you don't get immediately, correct? You do the karma here, then the karma phala is supposed to be with you in your account or whatever, or it is attached to you, it is sticking with you, and that only will fructify then, correct? So, saha karmana yeti, along with the karma phala, you go and attain that. In fact, what really attains the karma phala is not Atma, correct? Atma cannot attain anything, really speaking. So Upanishad itself says lingam manaha yatra nishaktamasya. So this lingam manaha, linga sharira, and again manaha, because manas is the pradhana in the linga sharira, or lingam itself can mean manas. Bhashyakara gives two meanings, we'll see that. So the mind which is attached to that thing, that attains that thing, okay, along with the karma phala. And then after attaining what? So you go to some Swarga Loka, let us say, and then you enjoy. Now, whatever you enjoy in the Swarga Loka is not all your accumulated karma, correct? Whatever karma which you did, which took you to the Swarga Loka, till that karma is there, only you can be there in the Swarga Loka also. Understand that. That is why, for us, there is no eternal heaven. Eternal heaven is really illogical. Eternal heaven means it cannot even start. It has to be already there. Understand that. If something starts in time, it will end in time. It can never be eternal. So some theologies talk about eternal heaven, which is totally illogical and not correct. So Here also Upanishad is very clear, correct? Prapya antam karmanaha, it says. So, whatever you gained, it is due to karma phala, and then it will come to an end. Once that karma phala is ending, then what? Tasya yat kinchaiha karoti ayam. So once that karma phala is gone, then he has to come back here. Okay. Okay. Tasya yat kinchit iha karoti. Then again, karoti here is basically for again doing things in this world, you have to come back. Means here the this mantra is pointing out the vicious cycle only, because you are attached to something, you do karma, you attain that, and once the karma phala is over, you have to come back and again you do karma. Right? Like that, it keeps on going. So that's what in fact it itself is saying. Tasmat lokat punaraiti asmai lokaya karmane iti. So why do you even come back to this loka and start doing? Because again you want to go and attain whatever you want to attain, correct? You want to go back to that loka. So like this, that means it's a vicious cycle. So you come back from that loka once the karma is over, you come here and again start doing karma, because again you want to go and enjoy that. So that keeps on going. And this is with this the samsari prakaranam is over. Itinu kamayamanaha. So the one who desires, for that person, this is what happens. Punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam. Like that, again and again, birth and death keeps on happening, depending on what you do. But now what? But what about the Mukta Purusha, Jnani? Atha akamayamanaha, the one who does not desire. And why, how he can be akamayamanaha? How somebody cannot or can be as the one who is not desiring anything means because yaha akamaha, because that person is akama, means one who does not have any kama at all. Therefore, he does not desire, correct? How does he become somebody without any kama means nishkamaha, because he is free from all desires. He is without any desires, he is free. How can he be free from all desires means what? Because aptakamaha, because all desires are as though fulfilled for that person. How can anybody fulfill all one's desires? Atma kamaha, because there is nothing other than Atma to desire. All desires have resolved into this Atma itself. For the one for whom there is nothing other than the Atma here, what is there to desire? There cannot be any desire, correct? So like this, you can see all these words are beautiful. One word leads to the other beautifully. So akamaya manaha, yaha akamaha, nishkamaha, aptakamaha, atmakamaha, nutasya prana utkramanti. So for such a person who is atmakamaha, who is a jnani, even though he may look like he is living with the body mind sense complex and who is doing action, etc. But once this body falls, again all these things do not, again he is not born anywhere. His pranaha, his indriyas, etc. do not go and occupy another body. Correct? It does not rise anymore. It just resolves here itself. It goes back into the Panchamaha Bhuta, we say. Natasya pranaha utkramanti means his pranas do not rise anymore. His Sukshma Sharira, because for others we saw the whole thing is described, correct? The Sukshma Sharira goes and then takes up another body, and there in fact everybody welcoming and all that, we saw all that. So none of those things happen. In fact, that jnani what? Brahmaiva san Brahma apyeti. Being Brahman, he attains Brahman. This is beautiful, correct? Brahmaiva san Brahma apyeti means here both Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti is talked about by the Shruti, correct? Being Brahman, he attains Brahman. So that is this particular verse. So this Bhashya we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Om.
Thank you, Ji.